RH Jam, we'll discuss what a reckoning looks like, why we may be undergoing one, and the part each of us might play. Barbara Krasne Solomon, a Reconnective Healing foundational practitioner and member of our L.I.F.E leaders team, joins us to share her own discoveries through the Reconnective Healing frequencies of these trying times. We'll also share with you an exclusive clip from our upcoming meditation on Saturday, August 15th. This and a lot more coming up in today's RH Jam. Well, hello, and I'm back. And if this is your first time here joining us at the RH Jam, my name is Ana Clavell. I am the presenter of this live weekly program in which we cover anything and everything that has to do with reconnective healing, but we often go beyond because you guys send us suggestions, you send the comments, you send your questions, and they are intriguing and important, and each program is formulated and inspired precisely by that, our interaction with you, our chat team members. Yay! I know you guys vary from week to week, but seriously, you are truly like a family. You're an extended family. You have no idea. I see you guys here in the chat. Oh, and I gotta bring you up because you guys just my heart it goes a flutter when I see you. Hello, and I'll be coming back to you because you are the heart and soul of this program. And today is 100. The topic today has been 100% inspired by a multitude of requests and comments and questions that have to do with our present times. This is one of these topics that we feel very strongly about, not only here the reconnection regarding reconnective healing, but clearly for humanity at large. This is something that deserves a little bit of discussion and perhaps even an expanded conversation. So if this is something that intrigues you, then I definitely invite you to subscribe to our Reconnection channel here on YouTube. Like this video so people are inspired to join in the conversation. And guess what, guys? Share. When you share our videos from YouTube into the world, you are letting these frequencies expand and reach out to more lives out there. And if you're only just discovering about reconnective healing, let me just say really quickly that it was discovered by Dr. Eric Pearl in 1993. It is an energy approach to healing, transformation, and communication on every level. The three of those, okay? And it requires that you learn no steps, it follows no rituals, and is being validated by science. And now, without further ado, our chat room. Hello. How are you, my dearest chat friends? You are amazing. I am so happy to have you all here again. I want to thank first and foremost, and do credit due where it's due, Cecilia Sams and Lexi Alexandra. These two ladies are really the weekly backbone to our jam, and I thank you for the time and support that you put in making this program be possible. I also want to thank all of you guys who just joined early. Hello, Aida, Lola, Maria Luisa. Reckoning, considerar, tener en cuenta. Reckoning is like Judgment Day, Maria Luisa. Like the day in which we have to go, because we recognize that something we've done has caused something in return that may not be too positive. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about, is what is our concept of reckoning. Hello, Kimberly. Hello, Justin and Jennifer. I also see Lula and Katharina. Hello. Yes, well, you know what? I'm on fire because you guys are on fire. And let me tell you, somebody who just found us a couple of weeks ago randomly on YouTube just said they have never experienced such fire in the chat. I mean, the program is fiery, of course, but the chat itself really instilled in them the inspiration to remain and stay and even post a comment, something that apparently they never do. So kudos to you guys. You are making this happen. I want to say hello to Rurik. Hello, everybody. Oh, Beatrix. Hello, hello, hello. I see as well Alina. Hello, beauty. Hi, Sonia. And hello, hi, Heartlight Healing. Would that be Patrice? Hello, Patrice. I also see around here that we have, wow, this is packed. I am so in awe of you guys. So in awe. Let's keep it going because the more you chat, the more you share, the more this atmosphere will expand right here, right now, through the entirety of YouTube. And guys, 1 out of 3 people on this planet is plugged into YouTube right now. Let's let that atmosphere reach beyond our jam. Because the topic today really pertains to the entirety of humanity, doesn't it? Are we experiencing a reckoning? Now, reckoning is like the I would say the more subtle way, gentler way of saying Judgment Day. A Judgment Day. Are we experiencing a Judgment Day? And it's important that we make a little note about that phrase in itself because it includes something very core to understanding our psyche and our relationship with reckoning and karma. That word judgment. And we'll come back to it. So I invite you to just make a note of it because you may have questions and it may come up for you in different ways as we just look at quick points before we have Barbara come on live with us in a few minutes. So, it really isn't difficult to be feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the ongoing global pandemic. And when you add that to the fact that the planet itself seems to be on a vengeful path against humanity, as somebody put, I'm actually quoting one of the comments that I was sent. There may be more than a few of us that have wondered if we are facing a reckoning. And by that, again, we mean a judgment, some sort of judgment against us has been meted, And when you look around, it may feel a little bit that way because it seems like it's a weekly thing. One week we hear the words, and then when we thought it couldn't get more complicated, the next week brings like a brand new thing. And when it couldn't get even more complicated, another thing happens, and it has been without letting up since the beginning of the year. This 2020 really is going to be the year of perfect hindsight, back in hindsight. When we are in 2025, we are going to be in 2025, correct? Yes, we are. So while we are undertaking 2020, right, it's important to understand that finality may not be precisely what's at play here, even if it's something that is coming to our mind, And we gotta say, there have been purges. There have been global purges and reckonings. And as far as our history can tell us, our written or folk story or traditional story or, word of mouth stories tells us they have happened from time to time. They have affected humanity. Let's just say the flood, for example, and perhaps even earlier than that. Science tells us that it was a meteor that took the dinosaurs from being roaming the entire planet into nothing in a few years. So it can be as easy sometimes as what we perceive the switching on and off of a switch. Pardon the redundancy there, right? Because sometimes it feels almost as if a finger, a divine finger, suddenly comes down. Like, I don't know if you guys watch Monty Python. They had the Bigfoot coming down and squishing things underneath it, like the power of divinity just saying, okay, stop, this is getting silly, restart, kind of thing, right? And that to me is my own visual of reckoning. To me, it becomes a little bit of the silly and the absurdity, not of the reckoning itself, but what got us to that point. That suddenly there needs to be like okay, stop all that. we need to change the scene now. Oh no, no, no. Okay, I'm cueing the clouds. Cueing the clouds. We gotta change things around a little. But it does feel sometimes that we are grabbed by the divine finger, and somewhere has decided to push like a doomsday button, like somewhere, if that existed. Like okay, cue in pandemic. Okay, and now cue in the fires. Okay, are they getting the message? Not yet. Okay, cue in. I'm gonna shut up because I don't know, and I am here with the flow. When we examine the stories and we tell ourselves the stories and we receive the stories about reckonings and humanity gone wrong and then fire and brimstone raining on us, how often how often do we take away a sense that it may be just rewards, right? I want to put that out there because doesn't it sometimes somehow feels that the transgressors deserve what was coming to them? And we're talking about a global reckoning moment, a global doomsday, but what about the personal reckoning? When we see somebody who gets dragged in the news, or somebody that we know who we felt has been doing wrong their entire lives, and suddenly the just reward comes in whichever form it is, they get arrested, the house burns down, they lose everything they had, and we sit back and we go, aha, karma, karma, finally caught up with them, karma. But for the same token, how do we come to grips with this global event in which it seems to me, I don't know, from where I'm sitting, correct me if I'm wrong, uh, everybody on the planet is implicated. We're all seem to be getting affected by it. So are we looking at ourselves and each other saying karma is finally catching up with us? And let's put it out there. Does humanity deserve a reckoning? That's another note. Write down that word, deserve. We said judgment, deserve. It's important. Let's keep those floating around here. But if we were, would we be brave enough to point that finger at ourselves and be in our accountability? Right? I'm just putting out there. Please put it in the chat. Let's pick it up in a sec because first I want to share with you that the premiere this Saturday, it's going to be about becoming a receiver, and the timing is perfect because this aspect of receivership, it's the greater ability to for expanded receiving and sending, and it's a gorgeous all natural, and you'll see what I mean. A meditation prepared by Dr. Eric and written by Jillian. And here it is, a quick clip.
In this experience, you are becoming fuller, more evolved, and accessing your greater capacity to give through your greater capacity to receive. Your infinite evolution. This allows you to step into greater accountability. This allows everyone to step into greater accountability, to bring healing to yourself. Breathe in and out. To bring healing to humanity. Breathe in and breathe out. To bring healing to the universe. Breathe in.
Seriously, if there was ever a meditation to bring in profound calm, this has got to be it. This has got to be it. Even just watching it as I was editing, I was just be taken away by that serenade of crickets. I was just floating away in nature. I even stopped listening to what Eric was saying because just the entire atmosphere spoke for itself. And I really felt that opening of the receivership, that amazing wire ability we all have, and that some of us are in conflict with. That's the source of another conversation that we've had here on the Jam, and that, of course, welcome back on Touch, because as these things affect you, we need to know, because that's the only way to grow, is by sharing your experience with us, and then we can share it with the world. So guys, if you want this RSVP, this link to the viewing of this beautiful meditation on Saturday, gotta send me an email. If you have not subscribed to the channel, and or you subscribe to the channel, then you know at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time sharp, the meditation premiere will pop up in your feed like magic. It'll be there. And then you don't have to do anything except sit back, get yourself comfortable and ready, and receive this beautiful meditation from Dr. Eric and written by Jillian. Jillian hopefully will be able to join us. I know they're super busy today, guys. But in their stead, there's always everybody else. And everybody else here is the oneness. And I spied that in the chat already. Guys, you posted some amazing comments already. Maria Luisa says, I think this is an opportunity to change and grow. Terry says, lots we don't know about our planet and the shifts that have taken place, and scientists are predicting a shift again. But death is not the end. So that brings comfort. So true. So true. You know, we think we do that. We think at, the end of days, and we think we only hear end and days, and then we forget to go past that. That is just like a marker, just like the marker of your birthday, the marker of the first day at work, like the marker of the moment that something happens. Is just a little marker in time, but it's not the eternal time that we really are part of and are truly in our essence. And Katharina says, that is, hang on. She's answering something that Lexi says. Lexi says, I learned not to judge because I don't want to be judged as an attorney. And Katharina answers, that is one of the things that makes you so special, Lexi. That is so beautiful and true. Guys, this is a very open topic, and many of us will discover have their own understanding of what judgment looks like, particularly divine judgment, the judgment that as humans we are told we do not partake in, because it is the just reward for our horrible actions. Okay, and to talk about this and talk then about the mindset of karma, I want us all to welcome our amazing, incredible life leader, Barbara Krasne Solomon. Hello, Barbara. How are you, dear?
Hi there. Thank you. I'm doing well, and I've been listening to the conversation, and there's a lot of interesting points that have already been made. So thanks for having me. And hi, everybody. Glad to be here.
I am so happy that you accepted. This is quite a topic, and
Yes.
it's again, frequencies always know. They always know. There's the topic, and then the topic chooses the person. I don't know. I don't know if this is. I intellectually do not know if Barbara is the person to answer this, but the frequencies did, and here you are, ma'am.
Well, that's really funny. So, okay.
We flow that way, because I like for people to get to know you as well. Barbara, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about how Reconnective Healing found you. Tell us a little bit about your story.
Okay, well, I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, spent my first 17 years there. I've had a couple unusual experiences when I was younger. An example is when I was probably 6 or 7, I was driving in a car down the street, and I noticed an older woman standing up on her porch sweeping. And then suddenly I was like in her head, and we were all excited because the grandkids were coming this afternoon to visit, and we had tidied the house, and sweeping the porch was like the last thing we had to do, and then we were going to go get cleaned up. And the anticipation of their visit was so strong, so delicious, actually. I think that's what kind of drew me into her. But at the time, I just thought, wow, that's kind of interesting. So I just got interested and just those kind of esoteric things, I guess. A good friend of mine in elementary school had this book that was kind of a puzzle. We would roll the dice or something, open pages, and try to read this information that was pretty heavy and very complex, but it was called the I Ching. And later, when I went back to look at it again as an adult, I just thought, oh my goodness, what were we doing as, like 8, 9-year-olds trying to figure this out? Later, she actually got the magic 8-ball, which gave us all the answers, and it was just a lot easier to figure out. But I was always just intrigued by, I don't know, esoteric, metaphysical things, and was kind of drawn to them. I grew up and went to high school during the 60s, and of course there was a lot of assistance there with mind expansion, and I took well advantage of a lot of that. And when I finished high school, I didn't really feel like going to college, so I just hitchhiked around the country and ended up in Oregon and fell in love with that out here. I recently made a video talking about how I found Reconnective Healing. It's posted in the Reconnective L.I.F.E community website, so I suggest you guys really, if you want to find out more about me, go there. I just don't want to have to repeat a lot of it, but I got interested in healing and did a variety of different types of healing things. Lived in Oregon most of my life. I was back east for 4 years helping my mom during her end-of-life period, and that's when I discovered Reconnective Healing with Dr. Eric, and have just been a big fan and follower ever since. So that's that.
Oh, well, you know what? I love some of the details there. And yes, absolutely. Our life leaders prepare amazing videos on a daily basis. And if you guys have not joined the Reconnective Life community, I strongly encourage you to do so. I put the link here below. This is how we are going to truly grow Reconnective Healing and bring it around the planet. It is a collaboration, a true communal collaboration, not only between our volunteers, the Reconnection team, but many other people who have come together and are rendering services beyond the call of duty, just to really give us the wind under our wings, guys. So avail yourselves to this amazing community service. It is truly, really like a service, because it just opens up on the levels of support that you guys are doing. Sometimes I find myself watching your videos, and I am re-experiencing in myself the joy of discovery of some of the things that you guys talk about, but also I see myself and I discover new things about myself when I hear your stories. And going back to what you just said, and I gotta bring it up, the 60s, woo-hoo! Well, how topical, but because truly the Western world's mindset of karma, that's the era it truly took root, right? That's when the whole John Lennon, instant karma is going to get you. So how did you view karma and divine justice before Reconnective Healing came into your life? Do you have an example that you could share?
Well, initially I was raised, I went to Sunday school. I never really bought into the old God is this old guy standing up in the sky looking down on us. But I did connect more with the concept of karma, and yes, Buddhism and Zen, and a lot of that was kind of new in the 60s when I was coming of age. And it intrigued me. And the thought of, okay, your next life you come back and have an event or have a condition because of what you did in this life made sense, and I liked it. And it gave me, I guess, a reason to behave, maybe. As I studied more and learned more, my concept about that began to change a little bit, and I realized over the years that, at least to me, karma doesn't necessarily have to be in our next life. It's really like what we're living right now and what we're creating around us. And does that make sense? I mean, does that sound like something that kind of resonates with you, Anna?
Yeah, absolutely. Guys in the chat, is this resonating with you as well? Please share. Yes, please continue, because that's an intriguing aspect of your own journey as a seeker. So you started to see that karma, and it didn't necessarily have to do with you are being reborn now with this weight, this baggage from a previous life that you need to pay to in order to rebalance the universe or rebalance your life,
Hmm.
or the retribution for whatever ill you may have caused somebody else or something else. You discovered as something that could happen in the moment. Tell us about that.
Right. Well, yeah, in the early 70s, I read a lot. I read the Seth Speaks series through Jane Roberts and Carlos Castaneda and a lot of Edgar Cayce, who did talk about karma in the kind of traditional perspective. But with Seth and even Carlos Castaneda, it helped me understand that there was so much more happening in the now. And then Ram Dass and his book, Be Here Now. And eventually I discovered the Delphin learning systems and more of the law of attraction. And so I think it's not that I discount past lives and us carrying forth some of that baggage, but I have it's a better understanding. And with Reconnective Healing, it really brings a lot of that more into focus, especially with reading Solomon, that what we have a choice and we can create whatever we desire. And even though right now there is a lot of chaos going around us everywhere, we can again choose to focus on what do we want to focus on. And I keep thinking back to I think it was Charles Dickens who, the first line in his story A Tale of Two Cities, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. And that's always the case. And so which are we going to look at? Which are we going to focus on? And I think the more that we choose to focus on the best of times, the more that kind of resonates out into the world. And sometimes my husband accuses me of sticking my head in the sand and just ignoring everything. And I really don't. I'm actually active in the Democratic Party of my county, and do a number of other things that I volunteer on. But even with all those things, I try to carry the light within me, I guess, that I've really found with Reconnective Healing and with studying Solomon. And even just earlier when I found out what the topic was, I was kind of flipping through the book, and chapter 13, which we'll be getting to shortly, it says, problems are not problems. They are lessons to be learned. And wherever you are, just as chapter 27, there's a healing that can take place. And I just think right now, these turmoil times that are going on really throughout the planet remind me a little bit of the late 60s when the Vietnam War was really kind of like crescending and everybody was marching against the war, and there was a lot of anger, especially with a lot of the older people, at least in the United States. I can't speak for the other countries around the world, but there was so much anger by the establishment that you guys are really trying to ruin our country, and we weren't. And right now I have that same feeling that there's so much change, there's so much potential for growth and for healing, and it almost seems like there are just waves that are unfolding right now. And getting back to the topic of reckoning and judgment, I personally just can't go there, because I know I've made so many mistakes. If I'm driving down the street and somebody cuts me off, instead of beeping at them and getting angry, I'm just like, oh, I know I've done that to somebody at least once in my life while I was driving. So, okay, that's the payback. And I just try to carry that attitude with me, and it just makes life so much more pleasant. So, I don't know. Does that make sense at all?
Oh, it totally makes sense, Terry. I mean, Terry, sorry, I was reading Terry's questionnaire. I was going to say them, read it out to you. Okay. Barbara. So, no, what you're saying makes absolute sense, because, the turmoil that we experienced in the 60s, that moment in which the old guard, or when we are getting that comfort zone, that old belief system, it just makes it even harder to step out from the whole judgmental process. And I can see why people who are not that they're stuck in that old belief system, but they're still very much in their logical minds, perhaps, may see this distancing from participating actively in a reactionary perhaps a behavior, like you, if you get cut off, you're not going to honk at people anymore. You choose not to ignore, but to let go of
Hmm.
creating an action towards it. I can see why some people may consider that like sticking your head in the sand. I personally, I agree with you. It is not. It is just that you are focusing your energy somewhere else. And Jennifer actually makes a point here as well, and so did Terry. And that's what I was wanting to read to you. She was saying,
Yeah.
"Yes, Barbara, so well put." Absolutely
Okay.
agreeing with that. And Rurik says, "We have
Mm-hmm.
all our own stories and culture." Nice,
Mm-hmm.
Barbara. Yeah, and that aspect of refocusing our energy is so core, and we're gonna talk a little bit about it because there
Yes.
has been that shift with reconnective healing. Tell us something specific in which you found yourself that was perhaps the inspiration for whatever happened next.
Oh gosh, I think part of it is, well, I'm going to just touch back to what Terry said earlier about death is not the end. And I think a lot of the judgment uh, comes from a way of controlling, and there's fear that's attached to the reckoning. You know, what's going to happen, and am I going to be judged, and what's going to happen after I die. So many of us are so frightened of death, and I think the reconnective healing has helped me step beyond that. As I worked as a nurse for many years, and I did some hospice nursing, and I was with probably more people than I can remember when they transitioned. And I know just from, again, some of my own experiences with connecting with people after they transition that it's not the end and there's nothing to be frightened of. And since I've been doing reconnective healing, it's really kind of helped me expand that understanding even to a greater level. It's hard to explain, but there's just a knowing that there's nothing to be afraid of. There's really not. And the control that so many people desire or want or are afraid of or run their lives by, some people need that, and if that works for you, that's fine. But for me, I always kind of rebelled against it, and I don't really feel like I need it. And I think there's a lot of people who really probably don't need that, but they just don't realize it because of maybe some fear or something. And I think the frequencies help us to release that, help us to bring it back into balance. And when we're in balance, there is no need for fear. There's no need to be afraid of whatever. So even if we don't understand it, it's okay having that trust. So.
Yeah, I can tell you that firsthand. I have a story, a really short story to share with you. If we think that, for anybody who believes that divine judgment is something that is, like I said at the beginning of the program, a finger that points down and boom, a switch goes off and your life goes asunder. Um, I love one of the comments here, and I think it was Jennifer, is that we don't need to think of the next life as the baggage and the opportunity to grow, when we can expand our DNA right here and grow and expand right here. Um,
Yeah.
this came from somebody who had the ability to see between worlds quite naturally. It was not something that we're happy with, but it was there and they could not control it. And this person refused to go into churches, because going into church, she would see all these people still sitting in the pews trying to repent, so afraid of moving on because of judgment. Because of judgment. And the only person judging them is themselves.
Yeah.
It's the judgment that
Yeah.
we pass on ourselves is as brutal, perhaps more brutal, perhaps because it's the only judgment that exists. Is the one that we put on ourselves, and not necessarily what we think is the divine justice that's coming down on us as brimstone and fire. But don't we all have a moment or know somebody who goes through life feeling like that? I love when you mentioned that in your experience of cutting off somebody, you thought to yourself, I probably have done that in the past too.
Yeah.
And with that, your focus went somewhere else, as opposed to retribution. You know,
Hmm.
when
Yeah.
you look at your evolution in reconnective healing, and you think about the portal, how did it help you shape this new relationship that you have with focusing your attention away from judgment?
It's an interesting question because when I first learned reconnective healing, the portal hadn't even been developed yet. But I went back and worked my way through it, and I was so impressed with that program. I thought it was so beautifully done, so created, and everything that was explained in a really succinct way. It really brought a lot of the kind of esoteric stuff down to make sense. So how it helped me, I think it just really kind of reinforced everything that I was believing. I mean, one of the things that it did really help me realize and remember is being in the now. This is really all we've got. And so again, it's like, how am I going to live right this minute? And I don't always stay present, but I find that the more I focus on it, and especially being part of this community, it really helps. The more I am able to remain present and remember what's important, what makes me feel good, what makes my heart sing. And it's not, getting angry at somebody who's down the street, maybe, blowing their horn, which is what happened this morning. And it's like, hey, whatever, their horn's going off. Okay. I'm just not going to let that affect me. I'm going to continue to do what I want to do because I have a choice. And the portal brought it together so nicely, so beautifully, that it just, again, is reinforcement. I had early on in the pandemic, I heard from a client, and we had done an exchange one time. I did a reconnection, and then she went to the Catalyst and really enjoyed it, but kind of got away from it. And she reached out to me and see if we wanted to do an exchange. And then later she reached out to me again to see if we wanted to do another one, and I couldn't. And she didn't want to have a session, but I can tell she was feeling a little anxious. So I suggested she go back and revisit the portal. And she did. And I think that just really is such a nice way for people to just reconnect if they want to. And as a reminder that there is just so much present for us. So yeah, I think it's great. So, I can probably go on and on, but we're probably time to move on to the next subject.
Oh, I hear you. Me too.
I am just so impressed by it.
But I may be a little bit biased as well. And I want to share with you, Barbara, something really beautiful that Lexi posted. So when we allow someone else to get us upset, that says something about us too. If we react, we give our power away. And often, and it's true as well, I love the follow-up on this as well, is that often when we hear that person honking at us, right, and we immediately judge it and want to retaliate, right, what is it that is upsetting us about the honk? Is it because it's loud and it hurts our ears? Is it because it's an affront to you and your little version, that little version of yourself, that little voice goes up and it says, how dare they? Don't they know? Doesn't it usually sound like that, guys? That inner conversation? Like,
yes.
How dare they? Don't they know? And then you have this immediate, like, delirium grandeur that takes over and it exalts all your deeds throughout your life. It's like this scroll opens up and lists all your amazing attributes. And this is like in a split second. Guys, I invite you to try this. The next time you think you're about to lose your temper or you get pissed off at somebody, you start feeling upset, watch it. Watch the inner narrative and what's going on inside. Because sometimes, guys, it truly is something written by Monty Python. I'm going to say it again. It is so absurd. It is worth the moment to just stop and even laugh about how we react to things. And also it has to do a lot with our empathy and our ability to be compassionate, because here we have people, everybody has a less than sterling day, and I think I heard it best, nobody decides that they're going to go out and shoot themselves up a whole store on Saturday night just because,
Yeah.
I am not going to generalize, but generally speaking, that is true. Nobody goes out of their way to do that. Things happen, and sometimes because we want to have an answer, we need to have an understanding, right, Barbara? We need to then immediately put people within this group or this other group, the people who are good and the people who are not so good. And at that point, we enter in that other word of deserving. The deserving, and without getting, this is not a program to discuss politics in general, but when we talk about ethical and humanist, and moral aspects of intercommunication between all human beings, there are some basic rights that I think we can all agree on, that would benefit the entire planet if every single human being could avail themselves to them. And perhaps one of them is like that aspect about judgment. The law is very different for country to country. Sometimes you're found guilty until proven differently by your court date and the judgment of the court, which is the case in the UK, for example. In the United States, you're innocent until proven guilty by the law. But how often do people end up? We have to include all of us ourselves there, because we might even do it not even paying attention. We judge the people who are presented to us via media, and I
Yeah.
invite us
Yeah.
all to go in frequencies and take a step back and watch it unfold again via frequencies. And it's a completely different experience of that reality when you are able to disconnect that aspect of us that wants to measure and judge. Now, about this
Yeah.
community that keeps growing and is now, seriously, we are creating our own atmospheric system here. Tell
Good.
us more about
Good.
Reconnective Life. Tell us more about this community. How is it shaping your life? How is it shaping the people who are already joining? Tell us a little bit about this.
I think part of it is the availability of the practitioners, the life leaders, the members. There are so many different ways to get involved. There's a lot of videos. People can post themselves. People can read the different videos and get involved with comments. And it's a great way to remember to be here now, to stay involved and just immersed in the frequencies. And I think my sense is that's probably what you guys who created this community really wanted, was to help get the message out to the world, because it is important. And by being part of the community, it is a great way for people to tap on, go into Facebook anytime, day or night, and there's always something there. There's always somebody there who you can resonate with. There are so many different posts, and there are a lot of other on-demand videos that are available. In fact, I've gone in and kind of looked at a few of them, just kind of exploring around to see what's available. You can really, truly, totally immerse yourself in reconnective healing 24/7. And that is, it just feels delicious to think about that. I feel like I'm getting a little corny now, but it is. It's such a nice feeling to be just wrapped in the frequencies and have them always available at your fingertips. Go in and look at a video, download some sort of program or meditation, and it's just the availability. And it's just the constant reminder that we are all connected. We are all here for each other. And it's made a big difference in my life. It's really made my life just more joyful. So
I want to share with you some of your amazing co-leaders here. I have a couple of comments that are truly very good. Alina mentions, when I feel fear, I remember that I forgot to love. This is the power of your words. Guys, and again, if you're joining us and you're only starting to hear about the Reconnective Life community and our life leaders, this is a group of amazing volunteers that all walks of life, at all levels of learning and understanding and interacting with these frequencies of reconnective healing. And they have such powerful stories to share with us, and such an inclination to be of service, of support, of being a sounding board as well. But more importantly, they are unafraid to share what has been their experience of these frequencies. And I salute you all. I salute you, Barbara. I salute you all.
Thank you.
I had a post here, a beautiful Jungian quote. Let me see if I can find it, dear, because it was very good. Thinking is hard. That's why judgment blossoms.
Yeah.
And absolutely. We judgment is a knee-jerk reaction, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
draws
Yeah.
on everything that has been stored in the back of an archive. It's like this army of little versions of you moving around files in the back of your mind of archives of situations. And then a situation comes up that looks like, feels like, sounds like, and boom, they pull in the reaction that you need. Bam, in front of your eyes before you actually take a moment to consider. And before you know it, boom,
Yeah.
you're off to the races. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's totally true, and I think that happens less when you get more in touch with your feelings, and that's one of the things that Reconnective Healing has helped me do, is really get in touch with my feelings, and realize now what do I want to feel. So often, I know in my case, just from a lot of dysfunction in my past, I was really kind of cut off from my feelings. I didn't notice things, and then I had much more of a tendency to react like that because boom, you're right, it just comes up. It's automatic. When you start really feeling and noticing those feelings, then you can become more discerning of, do I want to feel this way or do I want to feel this way? And it helps you to be able to make those decisions. And you know, just what Alina said, as far as like when I feel fear, I forget that I'm not loving. That's so beautiful and that's so true. And there's so many of those types of comments in the website, you know, in the community, that they're always available, and they're just so true. There's so many ways to remember that and connect with that, and really kind of connect with your heart. You know, that brings more peace. And even though, again, there's so much turmoil going on around, I think if more of us really sat with that peace and the feeling of love and light in our heart, that will help to kind of soften the chaos. I know years ago I belonged to this political party. It was called the Natural Law Party. They didn't last very long. They were based out of Iowa, of all places. But they really believed in using meditation to try to help soften some of the hot spots around the world. And unfortunately, they didn't really get very far. They had a presidential candidate, but he didn't really get very many votes. But I loved the idea of using meditation and our attention to try to dissolve some of the hot spots. And you know, I think it's very possible, and I think this community and everybody who does Reconnective Healing contributes to that. So
And that is a point. It's spot on. Whenever each one of us is, a healing can take place and will take place. Imagine what is happening now that we're all in this deep conversation precisely about reconnected healing and these frequencies. We know that the moment you start giving them any bit of attention, they just they blossom, they just expand, and they reach out to everybody who's watching now with us and whomever comes on board and watches the replay. That's one of the things that I love about what we do here, right? Let me see. Veronique wants to share with you. She says, "Just bring light into darkness. Just be." And I also have Katharina saying, "Barbara, it feels to me that you really differentiate the grace in your perception and in your words. No black and white. That is beautiful. Thank you." And Ruek says, Ruek is answering Terry. Terry had a comment. Let me see if I can find it. Terry says, "I found I had to work on judgment of people that were speaking huge judgment of me on a different path." And Ruek says, "Yes, Terry, I say always, holy opinions. People have always opinions. That is judgment." Good point. That's a really good point. When we have to have an opinion, where is it coming from? What purpose does it serve, right? Go for it.
You know, I think having an opinion is fine. I mean, that's part of what makes us alive and makes our life interesting, is having opinions. And yes, you're right. I mean, you know, we're always to a degree judging things, but I think that there's maybe when the judgment becomes out of balance is when there's a little bit of an issue. I mean, I can decide, I'm going to wear this shirt today versus another shirt. That's making a judgment. But when the judgment is when it's harmful, when it doesn't serve you, I think, and when it's made out of fear, I think that's where the discerning is. And it's a balance. I mean, it's finding that balance. And just like all of life, I guess, is finding that balance. You know? So that's what the frequencies help me get more into. So, Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. Finding that balance. I love how they will reinstall it instantly, and sometimes they kind of like hover, like on a hovering position, and allow you to discover what is it that you need to do to bring that balance. That's a
Yeah.
beautiful collaboration with the frequencies, right? I
Yeah.
have Patrice. Patrice, so good to have you here, woman. Love that. Problems are not problems. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Barbara,
Yes.
we are getting very close to having to finish the program, and I will not conclude it without you sharing with us one final exhortation, one final comment that you want to share with everyone, not only here live, but the people coming on board to watch the replay.
Well, let's see. I don't know what else to say. So I guess what I'll share is when I first saw your request for me to be on today, my initial response was, "Why me? What do I have to share?" And then I thought, wait a second. I'm just going to let the frequencies carry me and go for it. So I did. I had no idea what I was going to say. I hope it made sense, but it's all really with the frequencies. So thank you for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to just kind of expand a little bit more. So, and thanks everybody for all your wonderful comments and listening. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you for bringing your presence to this program. And yes, absolutely allowing for the atmosphere of the frequencies to go beyond our group here and into YouTube itself. Barbara, I know we'll have you back. And again, if you want to
Okay.
contact Barbara, I've put the link here. You can reach out to her. And I've also put information on how you can learn a little bit more about the Reconnective Life community. Barbara, hugging
Thank
you
you.
in frequencies. Mwah.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Okay, so reckoning. I reckon we covered this topic rather nicely. I saw a couple of comments and mentions that I feel we need to have a program about. I know I keep making this list. Trust me, I do have a list of new programs. But this whole concept of the next life and deciding whether we're going to pay out our karma in this next life or right here, right now. I think that is actually something that's been floating there. A few people have suggested that one. So if karma and reincarnation is a topic that kind of intrigues you, let us know. Drop me an email, let Lexi know, and we'll tackle it in a future RH Jam, of course. You guys here in the chat, as always, you are rocking it. You are rocking it. And if you think I haven't seen you, Alejandro, ha! I clocked you a while ago. So I want to just remind us of this amazing premiere we have on Saturday. That guided meditation is precious. It is truly, wow, it will transport you. It will transport you. And suddenly, at least for me, what Dr. Eric was saying was became like the background, and the chirping and the sounds of the universe became the foreground, and through it, this other layer of communication took place. So, guys, treat yourselves to this. It's going to be at 10:30 a.m. You know it, right? And it's going to be live at 9:30 a.m. and you'll see it. The premiere coming up for you on the feed if you're subscribed to this channel. And if not, drop me an email and I'll send you that link by the end of today. Guys, I also have links here for Reconnective Life. Go ahead and explore what it offers as a community. It really is the wind under our wings. With this, we hope to truly be able to bring so many more aspects of reconnective healing to the world. And if you haven't yet, I invite you to really dive into possibly the backbone of so many of the things, of the experiences that we all have with our reconnective healing. Solomon speaks. It is not a manual. Please, I've heard that. It is not a user's manual for reconnective healing, but it is a series of observations from the peoples, the entities, the intelligences, the individuals who helped bring it through to us that fateful August 1993 at Dr. Eric's chiropractic office in LA. So treat yourself and join this in-depth study group happening every Wednesday. And because what kind of program would it be without a little teaser, right? So we have the next little promotional video ready for the Reconnective Live community. Tell me what you think. Let me play it for you.
All the love that you know is you, that you
really
know,
feel
instinct, right? That's so powerful. And
everyone's
the energy,
level
light, and information knows this
and
too.
their vibration to a certain point of harmony where things that are out of harmony, out of balance, they simply fall away. They go.
Possibilities, but I can't put them.
Oh, you didn't think I was gonna play the whole thing for you, right? And spoil the premiere for this lovely little teaser? Well, geez, a little bit of suspense is good as well, right? So this one will be actually floating out there soon enough, and there's plenty more beautiful little videos that we're preparing for you and the entire community, of course. I want to again thank you all for being here today. Veronique, I know you will be there on Saturday. It's awesome, and I know that Katharina will be there as well. And guys, I know you have had a few inspirations listening to this program today. I really would love for you to either email me, let Lexi know, post it here in the chat so that we can fashion together what are our next discussions here on the RH Jam. I am writing out possible programs over the next couple of days, so keep them coming. Let me know what comes to you that it's something that we feel we need to talk about. And here are your takeaways. So how to move past our concept of karma and judgment. Well, first of all, if you're finding yourself using the word deserve, you have fallen into relative happiness. Yes. When we are talking about I deserve this or they deserve that, you enter into a comparative state. And whenever we enter into any type of comparison, we are no longer in our true joy, in the true compassion that we are, the light that we truly are. We're actually opaquing it because we've entered into a relative existence with each other in which we're measuring, we are judging, and that is not a state for growth. Second, karma is neither positive nor negative. It is an essential rebalancing of energy. Peeps, family, we've talked about it before. Energy is neutral. Energy has no bone with you, okay? We are the ones who color it because how does that happen when we decide to focus our attention? Energy follows. That's as simple as that. So when you are actually moving in a certain pattern, creating a certain amount of energetic output that has a specific type of reaction, it is absolutely essential that energy rebalances itself. So what looks to us like retribution, divine justice, judgment may actually be simply a way of the energy to accrue itself again in a point in which it is equilibrium. It goes too much in one area, it needs to come back to a center. Sometimes then it goes too much in the other area and it needs to pull back and come back to the center. It's like when you're stretching a rubber band, there's a point in which it will bounce back to the middle. Okay, so maybe it might help to get ourselves out of the mindset of karma if we regard this as a very simple, natural aspect of energy. And last but not least, we talked a little bit about recognizing our accountability. And yes, our actions have reactions, and often not the ones that we may have desired. And often these reactions we don't even see because we are acting out of fear or ignorance or another emotion that is not love. And when that happens, we may create situations that are less desirable for ourselves and other human beings and other creatures on this planet and the planet itself. And we're scared of accepting what we think is responsibility for things. Accountability. When you can say, like Barbara beautifully said when she was honked at, yes, I have probably done that myself before. It is actually an act of freedom. It frees you from the fear of what? Judgment. Because guess what? You are recognizing where you may have missed the mark. And from that, there is instant growth. Aha, how about that one, huh, guys? So, yes, we're there at the comes of finishing the program. And I want to remind you that that first hour of the portal, it's free. It's the gift to humanity from Dr. Eric Dillon and the Reconnection team. Avail yourself to this link. Share it. Send it to people. Send it to everyone in your list. You know, people may get it, may not get it. They may open it, not open it. The frequencies will always inspire those who are seeking and are looking for something, even if they don't know what is it that they're looking for. We know this because we have experienced this as well. I want to thank Barbara Krasne Solomon for taking the time to be with us today. Guys, these live leaders are busy. They are super busy. So I am grateful that she was able to join us, as well as the entire live leading team. You guys rock! Again, Lexi, Alexandra, Cecilia, Sams. Mwah! I love your weekly participation in this program. And again, a big tip off, because I love when our teaching team members join us, besides Cecilia, of course. And we had Patrice here today. And that to me is so amazing. It just, I love it. I just love it. I love it. The atmosphere goes happy when you guys join us. And it has been quite a program. Remember about the premiere on Saturday. And check on all these amazing links that we have here. Catalysts are about to start taking place all over the world, guys. It is live, it is in person, and they are exciting and amazing. Gotta check the link that I have here. Until next week, and hoping to see quite a few interesting suggestions from you guys, this has been the RH Jam. Your hostess, presenter Ana Clavell. Love you all, hugging you all in frequencies. Till next Thursday.